Hi everyone, it's Paul here from the Stamps By Me design team. Just showing you a little album made with a beautiful day, 12 by 12 paper pad, following Tony Askin last night on a Monday Night Live. Here I'm just showing you that when you're picking a piece of 12 by 12 paper, you need to really select one that is good in all directions. You can't use really a piece of paper on this one that has got a clear direction like the parrot one did just previously. It's just because of the nature in which we're going to score, cut and fold the sheet of paper. So essentially what we're going to do initially is we're going to take our scoreboard, we're going to pop the 12 by 12 sheet in, and we're going to score it quite simply at 3, 6 and 9 inches. Now, by doing that, you're actually scoring it into 4 sections. We're going to turn it 90 degrees, and we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to score it at 3, and then 6, and then 9. That's all the scoring you need to do for this project. So as we've scored lines, what we need to do now essentially is we are going to just burnish those folds. If you do have a bone folder or similar, you can use that. I haven't bothered. I like the crafty things to feel a bit crafty. They don't have to be perfect for me, but it does help for when we start the next process. There we go. You've now got 16 squares, 4 one way, 4 the other, all equally 3 by 3 inches if you would like to know that. Now comes the scissors. So, take the last section. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a straight line all the way through up until the very last square. So we're not going to cut that last square. Turn it around, do the next one across, do exactly the same, go all the way up until you get to the very last square and stop at the corner point. Turn it around again, and off we go. Now you can do this with a guillotine if you wish, paper trimmer, or a craft knife. The tutorial I saw, and I've tried to find the lady who did it, I can't find it in my history, so if I do find out where I learnt this technique from, I'll pop it in the comments at some point. I just can't find it, which is a shame because I really wanted to credit her. But essentially you'll be left then with a sort of W shape or an M shape, and what we're going to do, we're going to take each section and we're going to fold over and then under and then over, picking everything that you folded beforehand with you, and you just continually go around. I think it's called a meander fold. So just keep doing that all the way around until you get to the end. And this is really why it's important that you can't, you need to have a multi-directional piece of paper. It's good in from any aspect, because when we come to glue this together, the pattern falls where the pattern falls. That's it. And the last little section, and we're done. So, you can have a flick through and see what it's likely to look like. All that we need to do now is glue sections so that there are open pockets, and that will automatically mean that there is binding on the left hand side. So there's a little pocket at the top on that first one. When it comes to the next one, because of the angle in which we folded, then you're likely to want a side pocket, but you could also do a bottom pocket. I've gone for one at the top, one at the side, alternated all the way through. I think that just works better. And it's time to glue. So don't glue the first one down because you're going to need that as your cover. But we're going to glue in those two areas there for a top pocket. Try and keep it as far to the edge as you can. That'll just help for any of your inserts to go in. Give it a good press down. There we go, there's your first pocket. Great. So the next one's going to be on the side. So just slightly differently where you glue. You can work it out when you feel it yourself. So open it out, we're going to glue those two sections there. Again, as close to the edge as you can get. And then you'll just continue to do this all the way through the book. You'll revert back to a top pocket on your next page. I've tried to do the video in real time, so I haven't sped anything up. I haven't cut anything out. I have done a bit of prep with some of the inserts and the covers just to help, really. I tried to record myself talking over it at the same time, but that didn't seem to work. I was stopping the camera every 5 seconds, so I thought, well, let's just do it with a little voiceover. As you can see, it comes together pretty quickly. I mean, we're 7 minutes in now. There we go. 8 minutes 29 seconds and we have a little album. You could actually just leave it as it is now, but we're going to take it a bit further. We're going to put slightly larger front and rear cover on. We're going to pop some circular punches around where your fingers would go to pull out items from the album. But yeah, look how cute. So, circle punch. I just eyeball this. And you just give it a quick punch so that whoever's picking it up can clearly see that there's something there for them to grab hold of. It also helps physically grab it. It looks a bit awkward when I'm watching this back now, but it's because I was trying to make sure I was showing on the camera rather than just me seeing it, just so you could see what I was doing. You could also go around this with some brown ink. When I do my envelope albums, I tend to do that. There we go. Okay, so punch hole's done. We now need to put a cover on. So, piece of craft card. Craft card measures 3 1/4 inch by 3 1/8 of an inch. That's because we need slightly less down the binding side. And then I've taken a piece of the paper again that I want to cover it with, and I've left 1/8 of an inch matte and layer, so I've cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller than the craft card, and I'm just giving it a bit of a distress with some brown distress ink before gluing it on. This paper looks great against craft card. And again, because I'm ink mad, we'll go around the edge of that as well. I could have stitched over it as well, couldn't I? That would have been cool. Right, so make sure it fits. So you see what I mean about it being slightly smaller that side, just so that you've got a bit of an edge all the way around except for where the binding is. And I've done 2. So all that's left to do on that is glue it down. Line it up with the binding. And then you've got a little chance to just check you've got an equal area all the way around. You can press it down. And with the back cover, and the same again. You could actually put a little piece on the spine. I don't think you need to. Piece of ribbon underneath those, sort of like layers would be good too, and then you could tie it together for a closure. Awesome. So, inserts. We're going to have pieces of craft card. Now they are 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and then I've used some scraps, again from the same paper pad, and I've cut them 1/4 of an inch shorter, or smaller if you like, so 2.25 by 2.25 inch. Again, a bit of ink all the way around. And I've done 2 because I'm going to make them double-sided. Line them up. This is where I get the other piece stuck on my hand. Pocket wise, with this fold, you'll have 7 pockets. So you need 7 inserts, if you're doing that, and 14 pieces of decorative paper, if you're going to do them double-sided. Again, this is me struggling to get it in, but it's because the glue's still wet, and actually what's happening is I'm getting a piece of paper stuck because it's not stuck down. The awkwardness of trying to do these things to a camera. Tony makes it look so easy. Here's some I prepared earlier. So we're coming to the end now, guys. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. I'd really love it if you tried it. If you do try it, please make sure that you post your makes on the Stamps By Me Facebook page. There is a group. It's called the Papercraft, the Eureka Stamps By Me fan group. It's run by our lovely Karen. If you could post your makes on there, tag me in them if you want to. I'd love to see what you do with them. Perhaps use different papers. Any 12 by 12 will do. Possibly start off with a piece that you don't mind losing, just as a practice run. I had to do that. And yeah, I'd really love to see what you do with it. If you need any help, please do reach out to me. And I just want to say thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you want to. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.